You know, I'm starting to get more and more frustrated with the incompetence of Double 11 because I'm recording this currently on the 31st of July, a week after I recorded the last episode, and in between they released a patch, and in that patch they sadly removed the coffin beds. Originally, if you type in cell in the objects tab, you could see the coffin beds right over here. But as you can see, they're no longer there. And thus, these 6 cells and these 6 cells were no longer classified as cells, because they didn't have a proper functional bed anymore. And thus, before this video, this recording started, I had to replace the beds, which took a little time. They also removed the soft pillows that I had placed in, and I'm not going to put them back in because I just don't care anymore. So if you're gonna watch this video after you downloaded the prison already on the Steam Workshop, then I do apologize beforehand, or basically right now, that you're gonna have 12 cells that are no longer functional. But you can blame introversion, or not introversion, you can blame Double 11 for that. Anyway, with that rant over, hello everyone, I am Paul with many voices, and welcome back to the Prison Architect Grantless Gals playthrough, where I only have one question. Since I have been using absolutely no grants in this prison, which was the whole point of this prison, and I haven't used any other cheesy strats in order to build this prison, how much money have I missed out on? And so, for that reason, I have prepared a save file right here, in which I've edited the save file to give myself a negative bank balance, as well as a 10,000 bank loan, and a credit rating of 10, so I can increase my bank loan up to 250,000. But for the first grant that I'll do, and this is the only grant that I'll do for right now, that does require prisoners. I'm gonna do one grant that does require prisoners, but requires this particular setup, and then I'm gonna do a bunch of grants that don't require prisoners. I'm gonna go in step by step to show you exactly what I mean. And I think that I'm gonna have to do this in 2 episodes, because I don't know how long it takes. But I think that the second video will be all of the grants that you can do with prisoners, because it just takes a little time. And I don't know how long this video would be if I did everything all at once. So, for the first grant that I need prisoners for is the government bailout grant. I need to have a bank balance of 500 or below. I need to have a daily cash flow of 0 or below. And for that, I'm gonna cheese it a little. I'm gonna give myself a nice pay rise of 100%. And I'm gonna speed it up. And for now, I also am going to policy do no fertilizer. Just for now. This is all in preparation of. Okay, so negative bank balance, negative daily cash flow. And there she is. Government bailout. Cash no more than 500, cash flow no more than 0, debt at least 10,000, which is the bank loan, and prisoners at least 30. You get 50,000 to start, in which you need to use that to decrease your bank loan to 0. Check. And furthermore, you need to make your income higher than your expenses. Thus, you need a positive daily cash flow. Luckily, I'm cheesing this. Another way you can cheese this is to go into your programs and just start, for instance, workshop safety induction indefinitely. Because every session will cost you 100, which goes directly from your daily cash flow. But the staff pay rise and pay cut, as long as you put it back to where it once was, in my case it has to be 10%. That should do it. And it just takes a little while for the game to register the new daily cash flow. It updates pretty much every in-game hour. And you're done. Alright. So I'm going to make a quick cut in here, and then we're going to start all of the grants that you can do without prisoners. Right. Because I currently have the extra grants researched, I can now do up to 3 grants simultaneously. Otherwise, I can only do 2. And just to go grant by grant, bit by bit, I'm going to start out with short-term and long-term investments, because they take time. And I'm going to start with Basic Detention Center. Short-term investment and long-term investment each requires you to pay 5,000 upfront, and in 72 hours and 186 hours respectively, you're gonna get 16,000 back on each of these, for a total of 11,000 profit, for a total of 22,000 profit for both. In the meantime, I'm gonna start with the other grants. Basic Detention Center. Build a holding cell. Got that right here. As a matter of fact, if you have grants on like that, you can see what you need. You need a holding cell, although it doesn't highlight for some reason, but you need it. A canteen, well, I have to. A kitchen, I have to. But yet, can I can actually do you here. There you go. Temporarily. So I have the kitchen, I have the canteen, I have a shower, I have a yard. 2 guards and 2 cooks. I have that too. So I'm gonna yoink you back to here. Hopefully. Sadly it won't fit perfectly anymore. So don't care. There. Okay, I'm no longer gonna do that. Anyway, with the 2 guards and the 2 cooks hired, done. Next up, the grant that took me quite a while to complete. Administration Center. Build 2 offices. Hire a warden. Unlock finance through bureaucracy and hire an accountant. The reason why it took so long, because it took me quite a while to hire the accountant. Now with the accountant, what you will always want to do first is the extra grant, so that you can take 3 grants at the same time. But I always do bank loan as well, right off the get-go, so I can prepare myself for the inevitable government bailout. And the government bailout, because it requires a bank loan, you more often than not see other YouTubers never get this grant. Okay, first of all, upon completing the Basic Detention Center, you get cell block A for 40,000, in which you only need to increase your prisoner capacity to 15. Well, I've got 140. So what you could do is place 14 beds or 14 mattresses or 15 of course, 15 mattresses or 15 beds, or 8 bunk beds, and redesignate your holding cell as a dormitory. Because a holding cell doesn't add to your capacity, it just allows for overflow. But as soon as this becomes a dormitory with proper beds, it's going to become a capacity, and as such 15 capacity is done. Next up, cell block B. Increase your capacity to 50. Well, with 140 capacity, done. And then cell block C, increase your capacity to 100. Done as well. Cell block D, however, is a grant I will not be completing, because I only have 140 capacity, and even with the holding cell turned into a dormitory, I will not get the 200 capacity. My original plan for this playthrough was to get 200 capacity and then say, well, I'm done. Because after cell block D, there is a cell block E grant for 500 capacity. And my original thought was, well, if I can make a prison profitable without using grants and get to 200 capacity, I should easily be able to do 500 capacity as well. And you can cheese this, of course, by buying another... I could have cheesed this by buying another patch of land, and then make one ginormous dormitory, and just fill it up with bunk beds until I have the 200 and 500 capacity respectively. But I'm not gonna do that. I see no point in continuing this any further than I already have. Because the only thing that I could have done is make a maximum security wing, and then a supermax wing, and separate minimum and medium security as well, just like I did with the all DLC archipelago. But then it would just turn out to be more of the same. And while I absolutely do enjoy doing that, for this particular series it serves no purpose. So 140 capacity is the highest I'll go for. As I have Criminally Insane, I have Death Row, I have Protective Custody. I've got a place for maximum security, no need for supermax, and minimum security, medium security already exist. I'm done with increasing my capacity. So cell block D is where I draw the line. However, going back to the basic detention center, for which I need 2 guards. There's another grant called Staff Wellbeing Initiative, in which I need to build a staff room. Well, I have that, one here, and I do believe one here, and I do believe one here, a very small one. I need to have at least 5 guards without assigned duties, and none of my staff need to be exhausted. The thing is, before you go into security, deployment, and patrols, your guards will never have assigned duties. And I do believe assigned duties nowadays does include this. I'm not 100% certain that assigned duties means that the guards will not be stationed around here, because this is their own choice. So I'm not 100% certain about that. However, what I normally do is do this grant the 3rd. So I'll have my basic detention center done, I'll have my 2 guards hired, and then I'll just hire 3 more guards to have the 5 guards that I need for this grant. And since I have no patrols, I have no deployments assigned, or even research yet, I just have 5 guards, and because it's early on in the playthrough, they won't be exhausted. I have a staff room done. Next up, I cannot do visitation rights just yet, because as you can see, I'm gonna let the prison run for a little bit. I still have 7.5 hours before I can return the designation of my visitation rooms. So let's continue with inmate health and well-being. Oh, oops, a little too fast. Inmate health and well-being requires to have a medical ward, 2 doctors, and a psychologist with his own office. Well, psychologist is over here, and the medical ward is over here. Now, a medical ward only requires you to have the infirmary with at least 1 medical bed. The morgue is optional. It doesn't serve any purpose for the grant. I always think it's nice to have one, so that's why I have one. But with that done, I have the doctors, I have the psychologist, I have the infirmary grant completed. Prison maintenance is something I always do next. Unlock maintenance through bureaucracy, which allows you to hire the foreman. The foreman then will research cleaning and groundskeeping, which in turn allows me to hire the janitors and the gardener. Done. However, upon completing that, prison maintenance, I can now get, if I can find it, of course it then does this, prisoner acclimatization and engagement. Assign 3 prisoners to work in the laundry, 3 prisoners to work in the cleaning cupboard, and 3 prisoners to work in the kitchen. Let's see, prison labor unlocks the workshop and the laundry, so you need to have prison labor researched in the first place. With cleaning, you get the cleaning cupboard, and with groundskeeping you get the forestry. But you need to then, of course, prison labor, and then in prison labor through logistics, you just assign your as many prisoners as you can as the room can handle. So in this case 8, in this case 19, and in this case 4 and 3 and 2. Just assign them. Now you may think, but how does it work if you don't have prisoners? Well, the game just tells you to assign. It doesn't mean you need to have them. And this also goes for, I believe, at least. Is it this one? Yeah, the advanced farming, where you need to assign 10 prisoners to work within a farming room. I'm pretty sure this also means that you don't need to have prisoners, as long as you have the designation of prison labor. So yeah, I am gonna increase this by 1. There. So once you have that, you've built your laundry, you've got your cleaning cupboard, and you have your prisoners assigned to work in the kitchen. You've got that grant done. Right, visitation rights is still not done. Let us continue with... Oh yeah, upon completing that grant, you get the prison manufacturing facility, but that requires prisoners. Right, next up, I want to start with security procedure certification. The next 3 grants that I'll do, this one and the 2 following, all involve the chief of security. So better start with this, hire him. So research security, hire the chief of security, and then get to work. Now if you do it in the same order that I do, you should have 5 guards and no more. But this grant requires you to have 10 guards, so you're already at 50%. Then you need to unlock patrols and assign 3 guards on patrol. However, it doesn't say this. This is kind of sneaky of the game. But in order to get patrols, you need to research deployment first. So you go and hire you research your security guy, you hire him, and then you do deployment, and after that you do patrols. And then in deployment, in patrols, you just assign the people. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 patrols. I believe I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5, 6 in the yard as well. And that ought to do the trick. Done. Upon completing that, you get the governmental security ratings, in which you need to hire, or you need to assign 2 dogs and 2 armed guards on patrol. However, this time it does require you to have them on patrol actively. Why the difference? I don't know. However, for the armory, for the armed guards, you can only hire as many armed guards as you have guard lockers inside of your armory. I've tested this beforehand by placing a guard locker in here, and I couldn't hire another armed guard. But once I had the locker moved over to here in the armory, I could. So, your guard dogs will grow tired a lot faster, and thus they will require a lot more rest than your regular staff. So you're gonna need a lot more dog handlers and dogs than you have on patrol. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I have, I believe, 15 dog handlers. This should be enough to make sure that at least every patrol route has a dog on patrol and 5 dogs are resting. So, done. Oh, and by the way, look at this. $336,000 already. Continuing. Upon completing that one, you get the MaxSec infrastructure implementation. Yes, all of the security grants are a mouthful. You need to have increase the size of your security force. It doesn't state with how many. However, if you follow my my way, you should be at 10 guards right now, and this will save 50%. The security force doesn't take into account how many armed guards and dog handlers and snipers you have. It just takes the regular guards. If you run the grants the same way that I do, you should be at 10 guards, 50%, so you need to hire 10 more guards for 20 in total to get this part done. Unlock body armor and tasers, for which you need the armory research done. Build a CCTV monitor and place CCTV cameras throughout your prison, for which you need surveillance. And though it doesn't state how many CCTV cameras you need, from experience I know that magical number is 6. Done. Almost 400,000 within a few early seconds. And I haven't even taken in a single prisoner just yet. And I haven't even done visitation rights. As such, I'm gonna bring you guys back once I can do this. Okay, 3 more minutes until I can start the visitation rights, but I'm gonna activate it right away because this is a grant that I currently cannot complete. Build a visitation room. Well, I kinda have to, but I cannot designate them yet because of this. So now I can re-add them. Anyway, I have at least 3 visitor tables, which are these things. However, the game doesn't say it, but you can also use visitor booths instead of these tables. However, your parole rooms, which you definitely want to have a few of throughout your prison, they do require visitor tables. So I've got 1, 2, and in death row number 3, I already have that. Build a common room. Well, got one, got a couple. Have a pool table, check. 2 TVs, 1 in here, and I always give my, since I'm always working with staff needs, I always give my staff a TV as well for some entertainment. And 5 phone booths. Now sometimes you will see YouTubers place the phone booths inside of the canteen, but I prefer to use them inside of my yard, and always 1 in the common room if I'm using the graded cells. So yeah. However, I don't have a visitation room, so let's get that. Rooms, visitation room. As you can see, it's highlighted. 1, and quickly pausing it just because. 2. Done. Right. Are there more that I can do right now? Well, if you only have the base game, the answer is no. The criminally insane wing, the green machine, the eco-friendly, the basic farming, the bakery production skills, the restaurant service, the reform prisoner initiative, prisoner reoffending rate, and reform program research, those are all from the DLCs. But from the DLCs there are still a few that you can do without prisoners. Namely, for starters, the green machine and eco-friendly. However, the eco-friendly requires a bit of time. So I'm gonna start out with the green machine. However, be warned that you're gonna take a massive loss on this grant, because you get 7,500 in total. You need to have purchased and installed a solar panel, a wind turbine, and a solar wind hybrid. But you only start, once you start a prison, with the solar panel available. You need to unlock the wind turbine and the solar wind hybrid by placing or purchasing 3 solar panels and 3 wind turbines before you can even get the solar wind hybrid. However, it's not just that. The solar panels cost 2,000 each, so you need to already spend 6,000 in order to get the second step, the wind turbine. And the wind turbine costs 2,000 as well, so you need another 6,000 for a total of 12,000 to even get access to the solar wind hybrid, which in and of itself costs 5,000 a piece. So 17,000 if I'm not mistaken to get 7,500. You're making a loss, but of course the game will expect you to start exporting your power, so you need to invest at least another 1,000 for the transformer, 1,500 for the export meter, and probably 500 for a battery. So that's another 3,000, so $20,000 in total to get 7,500. But at least you have it. Next up, the basic farming and eco-friendly. I'm gonna do a little test. I'm gonna cut it here, and if you see a sped up section, then that means that I'll need to wait. Better yet, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna quickly save this right here. If you see a sped up section, that means that I'll need to. No, wait. Let's see. Let's see how I'll do this. I'm gonna. Okay, here's what I'll do. If you see the next section, and I start with eco-friendly, I'm gonna activate that right now. Okay, that does require still 5 more days, or 10 more. 5 more days. Darn. So I'm gonna wait with that and probably bring it back into the second video. So I'm gonna load. And instead we're gonna do the basic farming, which is done already. Sorry. Basic farming needs a farm worker staff, a correct functional vegetable allotment, fruit orchard and farming field, and I need to plant 5 of the crops in each room. So 5 trees of any type, 5 crops of any types, and 5 vegetables of any type. And you get that. Now, the eco-friendly is a grant that will take 5 in-game days. So we're gonna continue the green energy grants later down the line. Self-sustaining is a grant that can take a little bit of time as well, but if I'm not mistaken, I did do that indeed. Good. I know of a way to choose this grant, so we're gonna start it anyway. Hire 5 farm staff workers, so you need to hire 4 more. Purchase 10 bags of compost fertilizer, harvest 50 farm plants of any kind, sell 50 grown crops of any kind, and collect 5 seeds of any type from harvesting crops. Starting. I have my 5 workers. And now I need to purchase 5 or need to purchase 10 bags of compost fertilizer. Compost fertilizer. I have a few, but as you can see, I cannot plant them because they're all planted already. Except here. There's one there, and the rest I cannot use. However, there's a way to cheese this. I have learned. But for that, I'm gonna have to dump all of this, all of that, and all of this, and dump this, and that too. Because here we go. That is tomato seeds. Shop goods, nothing. Oh, wait. In this case, I was actually hoping that I would need a lot more. But I guess I don't. So I'm gonna turn it on again. Compost fertilizer. Because my trucks need to start delivering them. And here we go. While it says compost fertilizer 10 times 10, it's only one bag. And so I'm going to be dumping them as they come in. Number 2. And number 3. And I guess that I will speed this up for a little bit. I'll be right back. Well, I actually wanted to bring you guys back upon having gotten all of the fertilizer, but I guess I was a little too slow as I was looking at the reputations of my new inmates. Nothing new, nothing special. Okay, now let me see. Did I? No. There is a little thing that I happen to know. These need to be set to minimum and medium security only, because otherwise I'm gonna have my snitches, mothers in here as well, which I don't really want. Yeah, and since I have no Supermax, there, and there. Right. Okay, what other grants could I possibly be doing without prisoners? Well, advanced farming, I believe that assign 10 prisoners to work within a farming room would be without prisoners. It's just like the prisoner acclimatization and engagement. You need to assign the work rather than have prisoners work there. And produce 10 compost fertilizer, that is just gonna take a little while. But I do believe if I'm kind of against this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna add you here and you here. Get that done. Please and thank you. Overproduction is something you can do without prisoners, but it just takes time. As you can see, harvest 50 carrot ingredients, 50 potato ingredients, 50 cabbage ingredients, tomato 50, 50 apple, 50 peach and 50 banana, not oranges, and none of the farming fields stuff. No barley, no wheat, no corn, because those are already all exports only stuff. So I'm not gonna do this one just yet, but I think that I've done pretty much everything else without the use of prisoners. All of these grants that I've done up till now, minus of course the very first grant, government bailout, do not need prisoners. And if you've done this in this particular order, you can be at around day 8, 9 or 10 with a decently functional prison before you take in prisoners. In the meantime, of course, you could start working on your workshop and your shop and mailroom and library. You can add a gym and a chapel and a classroom. You can add your meeting rooms and start working on your bakery and restaurant. You could start having separate rooms and cells for your prisoners, etc. But this is pretty much all you really can do with grants in terms of having no prisoners. And if you give me just a second, I will see how long this video will be up till now, and if I continue this video, I'll do some I'll do it all in one video, and otherwise I'll do it in a second one. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so it's just over 35 minutes. I guess that I will continue. There are a few grants, 3 of them, that require you to have prisoners. Well, if you include the government bailout, there's 4. Inmate nutrition research, crackdown on drugs, and tool cleanup. Okay, I'm gonna start with crackdown on drugs, because that is the easiest to do. You need at least 30 prisoners, and find 10 illegal narcotics. Click. Done, right away. For tool cleanup, you need 40 prisoners. You need to remove the stolen supply of tools and the stolen supply of weapons. And for inmate nutrition research, you need to do 2 days of 1 meal per day, low quantity, low variety, and then 3 more days, or 2 more days, sorry, of 3 meals a day, high variety, high quantity. This takes a little time. Reform through education initiative. You need to unlock education through bureaucracy, build a classroom, have 20 school desks. It doesn't mean that you need to have 20 school desks inside of a single classroom. If you have 2 classrooms of 10 desks each, or 4 classrooms of 5 desks each, it's gonna count. You need to have 10 prisoners pass foundation education and 1 prisoner pass general education. Now let's check my programs. 10 have passed already foundation education, 0 have passed general education. And I don't expect that I'll be able to pass this grant at all in any relative short time. As such, I've only managed to complete this grant in a total of 4 playthroughs. In all of my, let me quickly have a look, almost 1,300 hours. As you can see, almost 1,300 hours, and I've only completed this grant 4 times. Shift tab, please. Come on. So yeah, that shows you my thought about this grant. However, given that you do get a crap ton of money for this, as you can see, 40,000 to finish it, it really is there to reward you for it. Prisoner manufacturing facility produced 30 license plates, and it only starts the moment you start that grant. In the past, I believe this wasn't the case. So let's get this started. I think that I'm going to be speeding up a lot more, starting right now. Fun fact, by speeding it up the way that I did, I only saved 20 seconds. Anyway, with that grant completed, a new grant becomes available, Carpentry Apprenticeship Program, in which I need to produce 10 superior beds, which can only happen as soon as people finish and pass the Carpentry Apprenticeship Program. However, as you can see, nobody has done that yet. And superior beds sell for a lot of money. And I'm really sad, because I can't get this grant done this playthrough. I'm really sad. Anyway, I had noticed that probably another person has passed the green energy goal number 6, the solar panel development. As you saw in the speed up, that I was looking at that and somebody was very close on passing it. So yeah, I'm guessing that she did in fact pass, and we're already close to $500,000 on just the grants. So we're not going to do reform through an education initiative or carpentry apprenticeship. And while we are at 37 hours away from completing short-term investments, I'm gonna do tool cleanup right away. And to do this, I'm gonna start a Bangup on all sectors and a Shakedown. Because you need to remove the supply of stolen weapons and tools, which you can only find through Shakedowns. And by sending your prisoners to the cells with the Bangup, you can ensure that they don't move around, and that the only other tools and weapons that are stolen are sent in through deliveries. And you may find the occasional tunnel while you're doing this. So I am going to be speeding up this process as well, because you may find it in, you may complete this in a single shakedown, but I've had it that 5 shakedowns still wasn't enough to get this done. So I'll be right back once again. Just to show you how incredibly long this grant can take, I haven't found all of the weapons or all of the tools yet in the 5 or 6 shakedowns that I did. And in the meantime, the prisoners have remained in their cells all this time. I've gone ahead and sold as much stuff as I could, because that's just less places to search. And I believe that I may have started this grant a little too late into the prison because of this, and at the same time, the short-term grant has been done. The next grant that I'll do is inmate nutrition research. For this, I need 20 prisoners, and this is why I advise you to start this grant as early as humanly possible. Pretty much as soon as you have 20 inmates, or better yet, for your first intake, take in 20 prisoners and close it down until you're done with this grant. So, what do you need to do for this grant? In policy, you set your meals to low and low. Make sure that it's not low to none, but low to low. And then in your regime, which you can do, I believe, as soon as you have micromanagement or perhaps just prison policy. But you need the warden for sure. What you need to do, and I'm gonna do it like this, I'm gonna give them just dinner. So I'll lock them up here. One meal per day, quantity low, variety low, for 2 days. And in the meantime, I'm gonna keep them banged up and I'm gonna keep them in their cells because this is gonna take quite a while. Be right back. Okay, I am now convinced that this is broken beyond repair. In my last shakedown, I found literally nothing. After having found something in every single shakedown prior. I have found nothing in the most recent shakedown, and still the game says that I haven't found all of the contraband yet. All of the stolen supplies of tools and stuff. I've gone ahead to increase the staff pay so that they'll be better to find stuff. I've increased the amount of guards that I have to 80. And still, I haven't found a single part of the... I haven't completed the tool cleanup grant yet. I'm gonna do a shakedown one more time without the Bangup. And if it doesn't work this time, you know that this game is broken. And you know that if it does work, eventually you should just do this as soon as you have 40 prisoners in your prison. In the meantime, we still have less than 3 days left to do the long-term investment. And we have then also 2 more days of the inmate nutrition research. Better yet, we have 3 more days of that as well, so... you tell me, game developers, 011, what have you fucked up this time? I think I've done 10, 11, 12, maybe, shakedowns. And even in the last shakedown that I did before this one, nothing was found. And still you say, you didn't complete the grant. You didn't find everything. What am I supposed to do? This is stupid. This is stupid. I constantly sold all of the stuff to ensure that the amount of places needed to be searched were reduced. Because that helps. Having less places to search is useful. This just pisses me off. Normally what you'll see is that one of these two will be done and then undone and then done again as stuff comes in. And eventually both will get done. But this is just utterly hecking ridiculous. This is literally the first time that I'm unable to do this grunt. And it pisses me off royally. Because I left this prison closed for 2, 3, 4 in-game days. I don't even know. Yeah, the prisoners are pissed off. Because, well, they've been locked up. They haven't been able to fulfill many of their needs. They may have missed a couple things. And of course we have this. Great. So let us do a concrete building. And then and hope that my staff will hurry it up fast. Please and thank you. I'll have to resow the grass as well. And also what annoys me is that you'll occasionally have a shakedown where it takes super long to find the last 2 or 3 items that need to be searched. Well, and all of a sudden, nope. You got another 500 items to search. That occasionally happens too, and I honestly don't know why. Shop goods. Because of course the prison is still running and thus stuff still happens. Grass. I forgot that one. And still, despite all of that, nothing is working. Now we're 70% of the way, and we have a couple of prisoners unable to be assigned to the cell because their cell is broken. Thanks to the subsidence of the land, and I don't care. Also, somehow our death row inmate got released, or we may not have gotten another death row inmate. I don't even know anymore. I'm not paying attention to that anymore. Drugs and drugs. Well, one of them is produced. $16, $17, $18, $19, $20, $25, $26, $25, $800. Oh dear. Yep. Best game ever. Now, I do love this game, if it actually works, but if the developers would stop adding stuff and rather than just like do stuff right. You know, fix stuff that is broken. And yet another shakedown without completion. You know what? I'm going to cancel this grant. There is no fine, no penalty, no repayment because there's no starting cost. I can just stop that. Let us then continue with the bakery production skills. Build a bakery, sell 25 baked goods to customers. Well, I built the bakery pretty much as soon as I could. And I've done that. Restaurant scheme. Build a restaurant, serve 30 civilians. Done as well. Okay. Reformed prisoner initiative. Achieve 100 reformed prisoners after release. But let's see. Paroled early. 181 prisoners have been released, of which 155 have been paroled early. Let's see. If I take into policy, no reform. Release prisoners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Windswalker. There you are. Smith, Featherstone, Windswalker. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Let's first see if there is a fine that you need to pay back. Yes. Oh, and I've done that already. Nice. Okay, reduce the reoffending rate to 30%. Well, it's 12 right now. So I believe that it's done. And now reform program research. Enroll 10 prisoners in animal therapy. 1 prisoner passed. Enroll 10 prisoners in 3 strikes program. 1 prisoner passed. Enrolled 10 prisoners in reformed prisoner consultation. 1 prisoner passed. For that I'll need to check my programs. Yes. Yes. No. No, wait, that's conflict resolution. Animal therapy. Yes. So, that grant is done as well. And now rests us, the criminally insane wing. Build a wing or cell block for the criminally insane with 10 padded cells. I has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 capacity. Check. Intake 10 criminally insane prisoners, but this also takes into account the inmates that have become criminally insane in your own prison, given you have that option on, which I have. So this will work. And then hire 2 psychiatrists, each requiring an office. And as such, I forgot that I wanted to do something. Psych ward. Ooh, yay. 1, 2, and then Rorschach test 3 and 4. I need 7 more and 17 more to have a 5 out of 5 thing. And thus the criminally insane wing has been done. And next up requires time. Time and time. And sadly no, and sadly no, and sadly no. And broken beyond repair. Right, I am going to do eco-friendly. No, I'm gonna do advanced farming first. As the following, the eco-friendly takes time, advanced farming takes a bit of time because you need to produce 10 compost fertilizer, and I don't know how long that'll take, but I'll speed it up anyway. This one is almost done, that is almost done, that is halfway done. It all depends on how much time it takes. And harvest 500 ripened crops of any type. I also need to assign 10 prisoners to the farm, which I have, and I need to purchase either a drip pipe or a crop sprinkler item. I always work with crop sprinklers. So let's see how long this will take. I'll see you when I'm done. Alrighty, in the meantime, during the speed up, I sorted out the collapse wall in here, so the family cells are back. I even had a new mother and child that wasn't being able to be assigned to the cell, but that's been sorted out. And in the meantime, my single quantity low variety meal for 2 days of the inmate nutrition grant has been done. So I need to move on to the next part. In policy, I'm now going pay attention to my daily cash flow. High and high, and then in regime, and I add eat, and yes, it the criminally insane inmates by default take up the same regime as minimum security. I'm gonna give them free time here, free time here, and walk up there, and yard, sure. Okay, so just check out my daily cash flow, because I've now switched the meal quantity and variety to high as soon as it ticks up, and I've now added 3 meals instead of 1. My daily cash flow should be taking a hit. A minor hit. And indeed it has started. And in the meantime, I honestly thought that getting the 10 bags of compost fertilizer produced would take a lot longer than it did. So now we're just waiting for the 500 crops to be harvested, which will happen in the following speed up. Okay, in the meantime, my long-term investment is done, so just to show you how long that takes, I noticed that somebody was fortunate enough to pass the Carpentry Apprenticeship, so technically I could be making beds at this time, but it's possible that the inmate in question has been released, paroled, or potentially put in maximum security where she can no longer work in here. And I don't know exactly who's the one to do it. You haven't done any reform programs. Really, Kievel. I don't even know what your punishment was, but oh well. We're almost done with the serve 3 high variety, high quality meals. And we're 80% of the way of harvesting the crops. Is there another grant that I could be doing at this time? Overproduction? Yes. Eco-friendly? Yes. Carpentry Apprenticeship? Technically yes, but I'm not gonna do that. And tool cleanup? Still bugged to hell and back. And that takes care of the nutrition research grant as well. However, I'm gonna have to stop it. I'll record this. I'll continue recording this tomorrow because I've got a few things that I still need to take care of. And tonight I have a thing with family, so I'm gonna end it off here in the recording. But you won't notice anything because I'll make tomorrow's recording part of this recording as well, or at least the video. So I guess I'll see you in a bit, or in my case, tomorrow. Alright, for me it's the next day, for you guys it's still the same video, but let us continue with the grants. There are a few grants left that all take time, and of course the broken one. So I'm gonna continue to speed things up. We're gonna start with overproduction, as it lines up perfectly with the advanced farming, because you need 50 carrot ingredients, potato ingredients, cabbage, tomato, apple, peach and banana. And for advanced farming you need to harvest 500 ripened crops of any type. So you harvest and you sell and you're done. And the other grant that I will do to start off with today is the eco-friendly, which sadly I cannot complete right away, despite the fact that I have run this prison since I don't know when on nothing but green energy. But once this grant is done, I can technically remove the power station, because of course normally what you want to do if you're going for this grant is this grant takes 5 days, while green energy goal number 8 requires you to do the exact same thing but have 5 prisoners for 10 days. So get this grant done, and then 5 more days of using no power stations and just green energy, and you're done. Well, since this all requires a bit of a speed up, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so advanced farming is done, so it's just overproduction. Now the thing that I forgot to mention about overproduction is that it is a grant that you can do indefinitely, repeatedly. It just takes 3 days, I believe, in between the completion of the grants before you can do it again. So it's not like you get it done and then you immediately start it, and you get it done and you immediately start it. No, you have to wait 3, maybe 5 days, I don't remember exactly, but yeah. I am gonna try again tool cleanup, because it's pretty much the only grant that I can still do that makes sense. I have in the meantime reported this on the Prison Architect Discord, haven't had an answer yet, so I'm gonna do a Bangup and we're gonna do a Shakedown. And in the meantime, eco-friendly is ticking down, 108 hours left, and the harvesting of the stuff, or the selling of the stuff, hasn't happened yet. In the meantime, I did replant the seeds in case that they didn't get replanted themselves. I shifted over the exports for all of these, at least the fruit orchard and the vegetable allotment, so that 10% goes to each kitchen, and then the rest goes into the exports, minus of course 10% to the restaurant. And I believe that was pretty much it that I've changed. Now, in the hopes, of course, that I can still do the Carpentry Apprenticeship, I am gonna quickly check before I speed up this next section. Nope, 1 has passed, and crouch. Sorry to see you like that, but you... No, it's not crouch. Is it Bangup then? No. You? Ah, you have little to no success. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna speed it up. I'm gonna do one Bangup, one Shakedown, or just one Shakedown with Bangup, and then I'm just gonna continue doing Shakedowns without Bangup, in the hopes that I do get this blasted tool cleanup grant done. Otherwise, I'm gonna consider this game once again broken. And apparently, now that I'm talking about broken and this game, apparently it was a bug that they added the coffin beds. So the removal was intentional, but the adding of the coffin beds was not, apparently. Which I still think is stupid, because you even had the in the tooltip for the prerequisites of a proper cell that the coffin bed was named. So just doesn't make any sense. And we also have a third death row inmate. Now, am I going to continue to execute death row inmates? Nah, not really. I am going to continue to look at our people here. So definitely going to activate you. We have somebody returning here. So I guess that I will see you, well, whenever we're close to either the completion of eco-friendly or overproduction. Or when I perhaps have a success chance of getting tool cleanup. I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, another shakedown with Bangup, and still absolutely no result in tool cleanup. However, I want to showcase a little trick that you can speed up the process of overproduction. As you can see, I've got some peaches here, I've got some bananas here, some apples here, oranges are not done yet. And the purpose of this grant is to sell them. So, just sell objects, and then yoinkity. And yoinkity. And voila, I'm already done with bananas. 60% of the way with peaches, or well, apples, and quite a ways with peaches. And you can pretty much do that for all of this. As cabbages pretty much take the longest to grow, and thus you'll be able to sell them. And of course, this grant doesn't do anything in terms of stuff that is always meant for exports. And for some reason not with nice oranges either. But you can just have it done like this and done. And in the meantime, still 83 hours left for the eco-friendly. I just wanted to showcase that. I'm gonna continue doing shakedowns at night, just to get in the hopes of ever getting the tool cleanup grant done. But like I said before, you should do this grant the moment you have at least 40 prisoners. Like, if you have 42, that's fine, but if you go over 50, it's practically too late already. So always do this grant as soon as you can. It is shower time. So everyone is in their cell, but I'm not gonna do a Bangup this time. And sleep, let's do this. And I guess I'll see you as soon as I have an update on something. Alright, yet another shakedown revealing nothing, but with the help of the selling tool I have noticed that I am pretty much done with cabbages as well. It's just a matter of where the hell are they. So what I'm gonna do, once more, sell, and just do this. Nope. I'm guessing that... Nope. Move cabbage to exports. There they are. These will be the final cabbages that I need to sell, I believe. And yes, Tiffany has gotten the 9%. There you go. If I sell you... Done. Right. In the meantime, I've also manually promoted the medium security prisoners that wanted to transfer into MinSec, and I have whatchamacallit, I've allowed access into the workshop for maximum security prisoners as well, in hopes that somebody picks up and passes Carpentry Apprenticeship after all. I've also added a wooden statue in here in the chapel, because I did that in the other chapel as well. I forgot to do that. And I added some wooden statues here and there because I forgot them. Yes, criminally insane. We'll have to look at the wooden statues as they shower. Yes. Also another shakedown, as I said, revealed no completion of tool cleanup. Once again, I am too late. But I've completed yet another grant, and now I can show you what I meant earlier. Overproduction, 120 hours. So that's 5 days, I believe, before I can do this grant again. And in the meantime, I can do Carpentry Apprenticeship, I can do Reform Through Education Initiative, and I can show you that nobody still has passed general education, and the person that has passed Carpentry Apprenticeship is most likely already out of the prison, so we're not making bets just yet. And for the rest, it's just a matter of waiting until 2 more in-game days pass. No tool cleanup. And in 5 days I'll be able to do overproduction again. And in total, I'd say minus the intake, minus the reform release and the parole and exports and power exports, I'd say 750,000 in just grants is quite a bit of money that I've missed out on. And with the 720,000 I could just, or 750,000, I could just increase the size and capacity of this prison to easily 500. And then my daily cash flow would just increase because of that. And hopefully the Reform Through Education Initiative and Carpentry Apprenticeship would finally be done. I could do Cell Block D and E then. There are 2 more hidden grants. One is Cell Block E for 500 capacity, and the other is a bug. Nowhere on the internet have I been able to find, in all of the years that I've played Prison Architect, what this particular grant is. I say this particular grant that is hidden doesn't exist, as I've managed in 3 separate prisons to meet the requirements for government bailout on several occasions while having it done already. So I've done government bailout, gotten back into a negative daily cash flow, gotten back into 10,000 bank loan, gotten back into 500 or less cash on hand, and it still wouldn't show up, despite the fact that I had 180 prisoners or something. So once again, whatever this hidden grant is, I don't know. I just don't know. And in the meantime, they're still giving something back, which can only be accessed once I've completed eco-friendly. So, I'll see you guys once that's done. Okay, so we had another burst water pipe. Also, with a death due to someone being a snitch, I was literally on the verge of checking out if we had any new snitches in the last intake, because I was on the phone and I thought I might as well let the game run. Otherwise, I would have to pause the recording and restart it again, and pause it again and restart it again. So, what else? Yeah, 24 hours left, or 20 hours left for the eco-friendly grant to be done. And yeah, we need to fix this water pipe. Also, I noticed, you may have seen that in the other speed up, that I was missing a couple of hot water pipes here and there. These ones weren't even connecting, but thanks to this water boiler, now they do. And as such, I also forgot to connect these showers with the hot water for protective custody. And it's always kind of scary to see this, but I remember that the women take it apart and then put it back together. So they damage it and then repair it. I am curious, how far are we in? 24. Yet another person has passed the green energy goal number 8, or number 6. But as you can see, it just takes forever and a half to get it done. And it's not really worth trying to go for that particular goal, as the only thing it does is make sure that people will pass it more likely. Ooh, nice. Ooh, 72. That means I can, finally. Psych ward flip board. Shall do here, and then the anatomy model right there. And now once these objects are in, the psychiatrist offices will be 5 out of 5. As you can see in logistics and room quality, they're currently 3 out of 5. With the anatomy and the flipboard, they will be 5 out of 5, and thus they will have the best experience and best possibility to treat this criminally insane inmates. But as you can see, something I wanted to showcase before, I have over double the amount of criminally insane than I have the capacity in my regular cells. So yeah, that's the thing. But oh well. So the hot water pipe has been fixed, or the regular water pipe has been fixed. I've fixed the hot water in here. Finally, I'm really happy to see that the restaurant is working after all. And in the meantime, in terms of grants overproduction, is still 86 hours away. And tool cleanup, although I didn't do a shakedown in the previous night during the speed up, which I will do again in this upcoming night, I didn't do anything. And all of this is just money. And drugs for certain people. But this definitely only is money. Wheat and corn and barley is money. Money. So I guess I'll see you guys in 12 in-game hours. We're almost there. 10 in-game minutes left. 2, 1, done. That is yet another grant done. Another shakedown, proving absolutely useless in terms of the tool cleanup grant. And time to show you the final grant that I can do. Giving something back requires eco-friendly done and green machine done. And now I need to sell 2,500 units of power back to the grid, which, coincidentally, is the same as green energy goal number 4. So, will the game instantly give me this grant or not? Let's find out. Yes, it does. That does take into account what you've already sold previously. Because, of course, green energy goal number 5 makes me export 5,000 units of power in total. So that is done. We're still at 24% of the green energy goal number 6. That will never get completed this playthrough. Tool cleanup, just gonna cancel it because why should I keep on doing it? Reform through education initiative. Nobody's even doing general education at the moment, and carpentry apprenticeship. We have 2 people currently doing it. Mojito probably? No, then it's Miller probably. And you do have a success chance. So it could very well be possible that this grant of Carpentry Apprenticeship will eventually be completed. Especially with me now having given access to maximum security to the workshop. More people are likely to get it done. But I am out of patience. And, well, not out of time, but this video has been dragging on for, let's see, at least 1.5 hours by now. So I don't want to waste any more of your time either. I definitely don't want to waste any more time of mine either. And let me show you the final valuation. I can sell this prison now for $1.6 million. And I ended off the prison being able to sell it for around $720,000. So with all the grants and then everything that happened in between, I definitely got more than double the value. Because the amount of bank balance you have, the cash, does get added to how much value your prison has. Luckily no deaths or escapes in the past 24 hours, so I could sell it. I can sell my shares. My finances, I'm not going to pay attention to that because I don't really care. Reform, well, that was pretty much the whole gist of the prison. I don't understand why this is so incredibly low, despite the fact that I have literally every form of prison labor available. Average health grade, I never understood that either. But punishment and reform, a high reform grade is something that I was going for. A lot of security, and whatever this means, I guess it's just to showcase their parole cutoff. You're 44, so you're the highest. You are all women that reoffended and came back, up to probably here, I'd say. And of course, the more reform programs a person does, the lower the chance to reoffend. And all of these reoffended as well. Look at that, look at that. We ended up with 2 prisoners in death row on day 136. A capacity of 140, including criminally insane, including mothers. I built this prison to see if I could do it without using any of this. And all that I have left is 55,000, 75,000, 95,000, 100 and 15,000. No, 125,000. And then I believe that cell block E is 30,000 as well. So I guess that I still was owed around 145, maybe 150,000. And of course, overproduction. As you can see, in 70 hours I can restart the grant. I'll have to start from scratch though. I'm gonna have to sell all of the crops again, but that's just more money that you get in because you sell it, you don't use it yourself. So this is a grant that you can, I believe, do over and over and over and over and over and over again indefinitely. It's worth it because it's constantly just more money, and you wait 5 days and then you have more money, and then you wait 5 days and you have more money, and in the meantime you just have more money for the from the exports themselves. So I'd say that looking back at this prison, not only have I succeeded, I have blown my own expectations right out the window. I honestly never thought that I could do a prison like this in a single go, in a single try. Given, of course, that episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and 16, oh no, 10, starting from 10 to 16, that was no longer really a blind playthrough because I had those recorded, of course, but without microphone audio thanks to a stupid update in OBS that stupidly changed a setting on its own. But I have instead gone a complete different direction where I originally I had green energy on this side right next to the road, but I moved away from that because I knew that I wanted to have it over here. This originally was my death row up here, and down here my protective custody, whereas this area was my farming. This was still forestry, of course, and I hadn't even bought this area yet. But in the meantime, in the actual recording that you had seen, I had changed the flower garden, and this yard flipped it around, as this was the flower garden, this was the maximum security yard. I've gone with flooring very early on. It's something I would normally do at the very end, and I still could technically throw the perimeter walls around where I have the fences right now on the outside, and the barbed wires as well. But since I'm not using escape plans, I don't think that these women will try to climb over the fence. So I'm going to close it off here today. I am going to be releasing this as well. So I'm going to be saving the prison. Grantless Gals. Done. Check. So I'll be releasing 2 prisons versions of this on the Steam Workshop. Prison sharing. I'll do this off screen, and I'll add the link in the movie description to the download of this prison. I'm Paul with Many Voices. I thank you all for watching, and next time I'm gonna show you the cheesy strats to get a lot of money early on without ever having to build a prison. I'm basically recording episode 0 again, but expanding it. I'll see you then.